Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, where obscure video games are turning into the new normal video games. Welcome everyone to 1982. We're playing everything we couldn't find the definite release date for at some time in the summer, and we last were in the United Kingdom on the ZX Spectrum playing Sea Key. Let's see what our next game is. Time to go to the Atari home computer, and this is Sentinel-1. I'm not familiar with Sentinel-1. Let's check it out together, starting with the box. Sentinel, oh my goodness, is that the Millennium Falcon or what? Another Star Wars ripoff. The X-Wings, we got two X-Wings on there. Man, Sentinel-1, just giving George Lucas a run for their money. This is from Canada because I see In-Home Software Incorporated. We only need 16K for this one. Let's flip it over on the back. You are Sentinel-1, the latest and highly maneuverable strike aircraft, and you have a mission to protect the metropolis, but the alien attack will stop at nothing to destroy your very last lines of defense. Your senses are tuned for battle, and the alien attack begins. Aliens will block your path, destroy your ship, deplete your fuel, and sacrifice their lives to stop your mission. You must destroy the aliens with your rapid-fire lasers before they home in and destroy you. There is no escape. You must destroy them all, for they will stop at nothing. Sounds like we have no escape and we're going to die anyway. There you go. Yes, their logo is an eye for Sentinel-1. Let's see the other art we have for Sentinel-1. There it is. Only $6, at least it was here on this alternate cover. And there's the ad you would have seen in magazines for the time. We've already seen Guardians of the Gorn and Alien Swarm. Haven't seen Baseball by In-Home Software, or maybe we did and it was on a different label. You can see the 4 Best by In-Home Software there. And there's the instructions on the inside sleeve, how to play on tape or disc. Game instructions, the spacebar freezes gameplay, and we've seen that, to pause the game. Any other key continues the game. Atari key stops it, and press start to begin. On your initials, you receive 3 ships or 3 lives. The object of the game is fly over cities and mountains and destroy the aliens as they invade your planet. As usual, you're allotted a certain amount of energy, and you can only refill a certain energy level. Is in the red zone. Refueling areas between the 2 cities in a green tower on a flat top mountain. To refuel, fly through the green tower only if energy level is in the red zone. So you can't refuel unless your energy is in the red. You have to wait until you get down low. And there's the points down at the very bottom for all the aliens. Kill all the aliens. And there's the 5 1/4 floppy disk if you had it for your Atari home computer. It does kind of look like the Eye of Sauron, right? There's the example of the screenshot. And we do have alternate versions. Let's pop in and play Sentinel-1 by J. Oklamkak. I can't pronounce it correctly. Published by In-Home Software at some time in August 1982. Maybe it'll have it here. There we go. Oklamkak. I did my best. So this one, I'm pushing Option and Start on the Atari home computer, and nothing's happening. So Option and Select are not working, but Start, there we go, Start does work. And we're in. It's Defender. Oh gosh, a very difficult version of Defender. There's all the aliens that we must destroy. Hey, if this is Defender, where's the radar? So I'm using my Atari VCS joystick, and it's responding well. It is not, it's moving automatically, right? Like right now, if I pick a direction, it just continues to go that direction. Oh, okay, we got an attack wave done. Let's look at the top of the screen. We got score, ships, wave, high score, and then invaders hit. Okay, so this shows us, I guess, how many are left. No, that's the wave size. It's keeping a track of our explosions. And then at the top of the screen, a really, really thin bar is our fuel that's going down. And it looks like we can't go in the red zone. Let's see if we can find where we can refuel when we eventually run out. Oh, here we go. There it is. If we can survive. It looks like the aliens track us, so as we move, notice that they don't scroll with the background. It's like they're scrolling with us. Very unfair. But it's not the first time. We played other scrolling shooters that do this. Okay, there it is. You just have to fly through this area whenever we get to, or fuel gets to the red zone, or looks like slightly orange zone here. Too cool. So bear in mind, we have not seen official Defender come home. And we're not counting the BBC Micros game called Defender. That wasn't official. They had to change it to Planetoid. So just remember, there is no official Defender. There's just a bunch of variants we've seen, and we've already seen plenty. Planetoid, of course, was on the BBC Micro, and then we also saw Strike Force recently on the TRS-80, and then Star Sentry, which is another one that plays kind of similar to this one on the Atari home computer, where you're just traveling left and right, blowing things up. All right, so fuel status doesn't look good. Let's see if we can refuel. They do punish you for flying into the explosions of the other ships. So if you make a ship blow up and then try to fly into it, it won't work. It just goes right into it. Yeah, collision detection is a slightly off, but we've seen worse for other Defender variants. All right, are we done? Do we get options? I'm still trying the select and the option on our Atari, but it doesn't work. I guess that's it. So there's no options for gameplay, which is kind of rare. Usually we get variations or ways to play, changing up the lives. I'm curious if there was codes you could have put in, because now we've already seen a few games where you can type in codes. And if there's one out there, let me know. Or if you used to work for in-home software. Yeah, it's like Defender, but there's no radar. There's no aliens to rescue. It's just a 2D scrolling shooter. And it goes through attack waves, so once you just defeat all the aliens, can't go into those explosions, but once you defeat all the aliens, then the attack wave's over, and it goes right to the next one, but the next attack wave looks just like the other attack wave, and it just increases the number of aliens you gotta kill for each mode. Status is still normal right now, looks good. I'm gonna try to fly into one of the buildings, but we only have 3 lives, so it's a really quick playthrough. We already die pretty faster on Chronologically Gaming. We're going to get better at it, don't worry. But these games are notoriously difficult, a lot of the ones we play, and this is no exception. All right, let's try to fly into something. Buildings can't fly into them, just like in Defender. Okay, what about this? Nope, nothing there. I'm guessing all the buildings we can just fly right through. I bet you fly through this area. That's the green area they were talking about in the manual. Yeah, buildings, no collision detection for that. Just keep on flying. Oh, Cosmic Avenger, yeah, great shout-out. I'd say it plays a little bit better, but the most reminiscent one was one we just played on the Atari called Star Sentry, where whenever we scroll, the enemies are scrolling with us, so it feels like it's not as polished as other Defender variants. I still say Planetoid or Defender on the BBC Micro really looks close to the arcade's Defender, before we get the official one that comes in. Oh, really? So I haven't seen that one yet. That one's going to be coming up, or we'll be seeing it at some point. Yeah, the background does look a little bit like it. The buildings are similar to what we saw in one of the first games on any home computer that had scrolling for 2 players, where one player was at the sub on the bottom of the split screen, and another player was playing a battleship on the top of the split screen. It was called Nautilus. I still say it's one of the best games you could play on a home computer right now, but those buildings do look very familiar to that. All right, so it's not hitting all the strides of other scrolling shooters we've seen, at least on all the other home computers. If you had this, though, on your Atari, there's better ones you could be playing, but I could still see you being satisfied with this. Having a good time on the weekend, a few hours of fun, but yeah, as you can see, it just continues wave by wave. What you see here for the scrolling is all it is. And the enemies just increase in size. As far as the enemy types, they look different. They don't really play that much different. Oh gosh, I am with you there. Defender and its sequel are both very, very difficult to play. Lots of buttons, especially if you're familiar with one joystick and one button. You go to the arcade and you think, how do I play this? There's too many buttons on this. Oh, that's right. We'll cover that one way later then. It depends on what decade it's in. I don't even feel like we're going to get to the 90s. At this point, I think we're going to be trapped in the 80s forever, thanks to the Commodore 64. There's too many games in the Commodore 64, and they're still making games on the Commodore 64. Right now, there's people making games for the Commodore 64 at this moment, and it's never going to stop. So someone needs to stop this. Otherwise, the channel will have no ending. Yeah, Stargate, that's the sequel for Defender, that's right. And arguably harder than Defender, too. Yeah, somewhat recent release, yeah, we'll never see that one. We're stuck here in the 80s for all time. So there you go, that's Sentinel-1. It doesn't deliver as well as other shooters or scrolling shooters that we've seen on home computers, and as other Defender variants go, it's lackluster. So I'd say it's subpar if you think of all the other shooters you could be playing. Still around the average range, maybe 2.5, 3 stars. It does give you the high score going for what we've seen from everything up to this point. But what would you say of all the games you could be playing on a home computer? 2.5 stars, 3 stars? Would you be around that range? Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they did either. We're going to see the crazy name changes later, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely too many buttons there. This one's a simple one. We're just playing with the Atari joystick and 1 button. So I'm going to say of all the games you've been playing thus far, 2.5 stars because of some misses with how it plays, the gameplay. Yeah. Plays all right for, that's true. Plays for all right for what it does. All right, and with that, let's see our next game. We're still going to hang out on the Atari home computer. This is Shamus, one we've already seen from Synapse Software in magazines, and this is the first time we get to play it, the very first release of Shamus. Really excited for this one. Here it is, the box. Shamus is going sci-fi, the theme that most games at this point are going for. You can see right here, Shamus is robot affair. Really cool. If you look at the bottom, we're playing as the robot, which is the mascot of Synapse Software right now. And he's throwing daggers at the robots. Nice touch. Love it. Let's flip it over on the back. 4 levels of intense arcade action and requires joysticks. You finally made it. Your nerves and guts tell you he's here, and the smell, the sickening sweet odor of decomposing fruit, the Shadow's trademark. Now all that's left to find and destroy him before he returns the compliment. What? I guess we'll have to read the manual to get more information. Tell the Shadow that Shamus is here. So are we the hero? Is that we're playing as Shamus? Nice. Oh yes, it does have a sequel. We're going to be seeing that one later. Here's the other artwork we have for Shamus. Besides the box, here's the ad, a very crazy ad by Synapse Software at the time. We've already played Claim Jumper and Apocalypse. No, we haven't played that one yet. So we're going to be seeing the other ones pretty soon. Guess who's coming to dinner? And there's the cassette to pop in to play some Shamus, or the 5 1/4 floppy disk. Whatever you can get your hands on. We have the manual too. So this is by William Matega. Later, their name's going to be Catherine Matega. So right now they're William. And you can see here, this manual was the one made in 1983 because, as usual, there's some games that are first released either in baggy form or not fully publicized, and then later they get re-releases because they realize how good the game is. This is another one, and we're going to be seeing this one released on several other systems. This one's going to be on the VIC-20, lots of other computers that we're going to be seeing it on, and then later it's going to be on the Game Boy Color. Believe it or not, one of the very few games we were playing way back here in the 80s, you're going to get a re-release on something newer. And of course, Game Boy Color is not anything newer, but at this point, I consider Game Boy Color the future, far future. Oh, that's so cool. Marshall, about the info? Yeah, Shamus Plus. Yeah, the hacked community is one of the reasons why here on the channel I had to put the nix in not playing every single hacked game, because that's a whole different world. We're just doing commercial releases. So on the left side, it shows us how to load Shamus for cassette, for disc, and for cartridge, how to start the game. Object of the game is to reach the very core of Shadow's lair and destroy him. Shadow's the evil enemy. This is accomplished by progressively exploring the varied colored levels of the lair and accumulating the greatest number of points, bonuses, and extra lives. In order to overcome all the obstacles and dangers that infest the lair and triumph in the final battle with Shadow, you must familiarize yourself with all 32 rooms of each of the colored levels and retrieve the correct colored keys for all the passages. This is the only way to gain entry from one level to another. Unlike text adventure games, Shamus can only be mastered by a long and arduous training period, in which your reflexes are sharpened to a point where you can deal with the incredible speed and viciousness of the attacks of the Shadow and his henchmen. On the front of the box, we kind of look like the Shadow, if you're familiar with a comic book series from the 20s, I believe it was, something like that. Yeah, too cool. Keep sending those little tidbits in the chat. I love it. So you're Shamus. We move in all 8 directions. This is a Berzerk variant. We can use our joystick to fire in all 8 directions as well, but because it's not a twin stick shooter like Robotron 2084, we're going to be able to move, and then we have to wait and then shoot in that direction we want. And then we have ionic short high-intensity vaporizers are the weapons that we use. They totally disintegrate any life form on contact unless shielded by tri-gamma body armor. You only have 2 ion shivs. Nice. So futuristic shivs at any one time. So you can only do 2 shots basically on screen at once. We have whirling drones. Never underestimate the ferocity of whirling drones. They are sneaky in the passages of the lair. Then we have robo-droids, relatively slow-moving mechanical semi-mechanical androids. These droids are methodical and never give up. They're also armed with disruptors. We also have snap jumpers. This is so cool. They're giving us the rundown of all the enemies we're going to be facing. And this is a game that is a blend of both Berzerk and Adventure by Warren Robinette, where we're going to be going screen by screen and exploring the world. So the layer consists of 4 levels of 32 rooms each. So do the math. I think that's 144 total. The colors in order to progress are black, blue, green, and red. As you progress from one level to the next, action increases in speed and intensity level red. You gain extra points for completely clearing each room of intruders. And so to go to the end of each layer, they have colored keys that you have to find, and they match the keyholes. The keys are picked up by Shamus by touching them, so you don't have to hold anything down or use a button like we've seen in other games that are kind of like Adventure. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, be sure to check those out. I love the hacked games, but here on the show, playing every single game in order of release, we're playing the beginning, and if you want to see more, go check out those hacks. We also have extra lives in the upper right-hand corner, and then you make your way around. Okay, question marks will just give you bonuses or disaster. Okay, so it's a mixed bag. The arch-villain Shadow is constantly monitoring your activities in his lair. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Okay, so he's Santa Claus. Be extremely careful when you hear a low-pitched pulsing begin. This is the signal that Shadow's about to enter the room. So wait, is Shadow Evil Otto of Shamus? You cannot kill Shadow once he wears tri-gamma armor. You can stun him. He remains stunned only for a short time, after which you better move quickly. Only in the deepest recesses of level red will you find the answer to this puzzle. That's cool. So another game that is giving you the incentive, let's see what's next. Let's go further and further down. We also have pod rooms that exist in another dimension. There's only a small time window through which to gain entrance. Look at all the stuff they got in this game. This is so cool. 4 levels of play. Each level is substantially more difficult than the last, so choose wisely. And yes, in my playtest, you go to the higher levels, it's fast. They give you some play tips, just like in Atari manuals. Very nice. And there you go. The back shows you everything we saw in the back of the box. We are going to be playing as Shamus. So this one has other optional versions as well. It even has one later in 1986 by Americana Software, if you had this in the United Kingdom. So we're playing the first one. This is Shamus by William Matega, published by Synapse Software at sometime in August 1982. And we're greeted with Alfred Hitchcock theme song. Nice. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time we've heard this song. Love it. So the only official Berzerk game has been at home on the Atari VCS so far. That's the only official Berzerk. But we've had tons and tons of Berzerk-style games. We can add this one to the pile. Here we go. Cancels the song. I really enjoy it. Thank you. We will be seeing the sequel at some point. The first one, though, I'm really not familiar with this. We play lots of games similar to this one. Oh, there we go. They give us a little key to tell us how it works. The keyhole, the mystery question mark, extra life. And to tell you the truth, they really don't need a key. The way the pixels, the pixel art's displayed looks great. Look at the symbols. We can understand that's a key. I can understand that's a question mark. There's games where they give us the key, and it's very helpful. We need to have it. But here, you can tell who everything is. There's Shadow. And then if we want to, can we push select? There it is. Select on our Atari home computer gives us expert, advanced. We'll start with novice level so you can see how it works. Does option do anything? No, it's a single player affair. Let's go. Push and start, and we're in. There we are. We're Shamus. Oh, look, we even animate as we walk around. So cool. So I got 2 shots each. Very nice touch. Let's go for the question mark. It works. Go to the next screen. So now we're moving screen by screen, but I would say this is more advanced than Berzerk. I know we have the shoot, the way to shoot down the enemies, but okay, can I touch the walls? No, I can't, so we die from that. In the top right corner shows us our lives. We're at level black, so we're looking for the black key. And I guess that's the one, the purple one stands as the black key. Go ahead and pick it up. It shows down the bottom right of the screen. You got the black key. It's right here on my shoulder, or behind my shoulder. But when you played Berzerk, you knew you were going room by room, but you weren't really exploring. It was just going to continue on room by room. I think thousands of rooms. And this one actually has a goal. So we are getting to run around, shoot in 8 directions, just like Berzerk, but we have to make our way through the maze, dodging the bad guys, avoiding the walls too, and then we apparently have the shadow somewhere around here. Okay, there we go. We got some potion, nice. And we got some of the enemies shooting us now. Yeah, this one plays and responds really well. This is a lot more screens than we played with other games like Marauder that have been out there. Awesome. Okay, so we got that one. Move on to the next screen. Loving the animation of the walls, too. It lets you know they're electrified. Make our way down here. Wow, yeah, you gotta really watch out for the shots, though. This is a large world to explore. The double shot is very nice touch. Yeah, that's a good point. Whenever you play with all the enemies on screen, you move at a certain speed. When everyone goes away, look how fast Shamus moves now. He's at a blistering speed. There he is, the Shadow. So Shadow is like Evil Otto. He shows up and tries to get rid of you. Okay, there we got a keyhole. I don't think... Let's see if we can go in that one with the key we found. If it works. It does not. So we got to find the key that'll match that one. So head back. We are backtracking. What do you know? I like how the shot makes an explosion and causes a chain reaction. So if other enemies are nearby, they blow up. And other enemies will die if they touch the walls just like you. I love uniformity in my video games. If it's going to happen to me, it needs to happen to everyone. There we go. Don't get too close. Alright, looking good. Yeah, we speed up really fast. You gotta watch out for those walls. Look how many enemies are clustered together. When they cluster together, they're just gonna die. So you can see what room number we're on down at the bottom, and then what level we're on. Still looking for the keyhole to move on to the next phase. Okay, looks good there. Okay, I'll go ahead and take this. Nice. Got more extra lives from that. Okay, we got another key. We're going to add it to our collection. Yeah, so right now I'm moving very slow. But until I clear the last enemy, I bet it'll speed us up. This won't open the lock that we found. And this is a very large number of screens or rooms. So you'd have to memorize or keep track of what you're seeing to know where to go. And it is helpful that they're telling us what room number it is. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like this? Oh, that's right. We're going to get a lot of ports of this. This is very popular. Oh, and whenever you die, it's cool that you start in this exact same spot, but all the enemies come back again. Nice. Okay, they reset the room as well. Looks like we got some luck there. Room number 24. Oh, and I see what you mean now. Holding down the button, holding down the red button in your Atari VCS and allowing you to pump the joystick so you can sit in one spot and pump the direction you want. Oh, but no, the shadow's coming. Go. Not gonna happen, buddy. There we go. Making our way up to the top. Oh, they got me at the last one. There we go. So there's room 10, 9. Still making our way around Got 2 keys, but we're running low on lives. We gotta find more potions to keep on going. Let's just avoid the enemies. You get more points for it, but you can see it is an affair where we're trying to survive as long as we can. No potions here. And I touched the wall trying to run away. Because when the enemy dies, you speed up a little bit. Oh, wait, go down? Oh, I love it. You're giving me the direction of where to go next? Sweet. Yeah, I can't go down there. Sweet. So much fun. So there you go. All the lives went away. We've lost all the keys, and we now started back at the beginning. This game is starting what I'd like to refer to as the war of screens, or who can have the most screens on their game. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as the 80s progresses with video games. This one is obviously not the first, but let's just go through. Let's talk about video game scrolling. Why not? All right, so in the very beginning when we started playing video games, you know when you play Space Invaders, and you know when you play games like Pac-Man, those games are going to be staying on the same screen, and you're not going to go anywhere. We call that fixed screen. And what happened was, at some point in the 70s, we got a game called Superbug, and this was the very first game that was doing scrolling. It was something beyond the screen you were playing on. You were playing the video game on, there was something beyond the screen, and that's what Superbug did, which is like a 2D scrolling game. But the thing is, there was another kind of view that you can have besides a fixed view and besides a scrolling view that happened. And it happened whenever we got to games like Superman and games like Adventure on the Atari VCS. And this is referred to as flipped screen games, kind of like flipping a book. So whenever you play these games, it's obviously taking place on one screen, but you know there's something else that's going to happen off the screen, and it flips to the next one, and it creates this mini world to explore, or maze like it is in Adventure. And we've seen games progress through this kind of view, the flipped view, after that, like a Calabath. Role-playing games that have screens that flip, and you know it's a larger world than all you see on one screen. And of course we have other ones too, like graphic adventure games. Whenever they go from screen to screen, it can be all put together when you're traveling through a house or a desert or different mazes. Even though it's one screen and you're on one screen, you're going to be seeing that view at flipping, and it's a larger world than just one place. And after we saw adventure games do the flipped view, then we had Berzerk show up. And Berzerk had thousands and thousands of screens. They were randomly generated as they were, created across whenever you play Berzerk. But it was a huge place, and you felt like you were traveling a larger maze than just a Pac-Man maze on one fixed screen. So another example of the flipped screen and running around and shooting everything. And then after that, we had Rescue at Rigel and role-playing games like Star Quest that allowed you to do the role-playing experience, and when you left the screen, you went to something else. And one of the best ones was Wolfenstein, Castle Wolfenstein. You knew you were traveling or exploring a world more than just on one screen. And so this is the next departure of what's going to happen next with video games, where you're not on a fixed screen, you're now on the flipped screen. You can see here we did it with Alibaba and the 40 Thieves too, where the world is larger than just the one screen, even though like on Shamus we're moving around and shooting on one, but it flips to the next one. It's kind of like the difference between playing Donkey Kong in the arcades and playing Venture in the arcades. When you play Donkey Kong, it's four different screens, but those 4 screens are all just their own entity. They're not combined into one map. If you remember, we played Lost Tomb in the arcade. Lost Tomb was a flipped screen game because you were traveling through the tomb in the arcade room to room as if it was a larger world to explore. Yeah, you can see that this is Alibaba going from room to room in a flipped screen fashion. And then we also played another one called Cops and Robbers on the Apple II that is kind of like Adventure by Warren Robinette. It goes screen by screen and flips the screen to each one. And then we also have shooters that showed up that have the 2D scrolling. Games like Scramble, games like Super Cobra. Those shooters, like Defender, show up and they're 2D scrolling across, but we have maybe 1 or 2 that we've seen so far on the channel that employ the flip screen for a shooter, and I think they realize that it doesn't work very well, and they're going to keep doing scrolling rather than flipping the screen for shooters. And then the big one shows up. And this is where the whole war of screens begins with Pitfall. We've already seen a few other games try to employ that. Like Superman had 20 26 screens. Adventure had 26 or 30, depending on if you want to think of the randomness. But then you get to Castle Wolfenstein. Castle Wolfenstein had 60 screens. Alibaba had 40 screens, but I haven't verified that. It'd be really funny if Alibaba and the 40 Thieves had 40 screens. But then we get here with Pitfall, 255 screens. So this adventure is taking place on a much larger map than what you can see just right here on the screen. Cool idea, and now games are going to be starting to add more and more and more. And right here we're in Shamus. Shamus is doing 144 screens. And then we also have other games like Venture, where this one is flipping as you go room to room inside. And then we've seen other ones that have led up to Shamus. This one is the game Starship Escape that goes room to room, and it's a larger world to explore. So here we go, another example of the flipped screen view for video games, and it's just going to get bigger, more massive. How many screens can we go? And then, of course, we're going to have games that eventually get so large that they're scrolling into worlds from the top-down view like this. It's just cool knowing that it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And they're going to start doing it with platformers too. Because Miner 2049er was a fixed screen game. There wasn't other worlds. You did go level by level, but they weren't joined together. But we're going to be seeing games that will be doing the flipped view with platformers. And that's where they get even bigger. It's going to be so exciting. Yeah, so Shamus is a great time. I really want to keep playing. It's really fun to run around and know that you're going to be picking up keys and exploring a larger world than just on one screen. And it feels, even though we haven't seen official Berzerk yet, oh, there we go, they get the key again. Even though we haven't seen official Berzerk yet, Shamus is still, I would say, more impressive than Berzerk because it is a shooter moving around, but you're just not going random room to room to room to room. This one actually has an objective or a goal to accomplish. Yeah, it has the replayability, definitely. And I'm already seeing the votes over in the chat, 4.5 stars from Victor and Errol. Yeah, I was going to say, too, I believe this one would be better than Berzerk. Shamus is better and plays just as well. You got double shot, but then the goal of where you're going to go next. I'm going 5 from Marshall, yeah. Nice advantage of the hardware, too. Works really well with the Atari VCS joystick. Yeah, the name isn't as popular, and I can understand why this one was kind of put under the radar. But thanks to the tips in the chat, you can get used to playing with getting your shots down. These enemies are hiding from me. Notice that every time we play, though, it is the same maze. We started in the same place, same level, level black. So nothing random here. And I believe, yeah, I can shoot their shot. So all the enemies that can shoot back, as long as you keep firing at them, then you can hopefully shield yourself. Oh, see, I barely dodged that one. I don't know how I did that. Let's pick up the question mark and go for it. Yeah, I'm with you there. This is another example of a computer game that is playing better than an arcade game, or I would say even more fun than an arcade game. We've already seen a few of these on the home computer. It's great seeing also the battle between arcade games, arcade video games, and home computer video games. A few of them are coming up, and they're just better to play. But no one can stop the arcade. Everyone's going to keep going to the arcade. It's where everything began. Very nice. Yeah, I want to keep playing. I want to see the next level, next rooms. Yeah, it does feel like there's motion everywhere, right? So cool. So there you go. That's Shamus. Of all the games right now you could be playing on a home computer, I actually rank it up there because of the the ability to go from level to level. You're picking up keys, you're unlocking doors, and this is also the transition between adventure games that do the graphic and showing you a screen, and you know when you're in a adventure game going from screen to screen, it's a larger world. This is taking that and making it into an action. So it's like this pseudo-action adventure kind of thing, but it's bleeding into both. Yeah. Oh, and then we haven't even seen the pod rooms yet. Those are cool too. But I'm going to go all the way up and say Shamus is a 5-star game. It is exploratory. It's up there with Pitfall on the Atari VCS. It's something that's bigger than other video games that are out there. All right, and with that, let's see what our next game is. We're now on the Commodore 64, and this is the Shootout at the OK Galaxy. We've already seen Shootout at the OK Galaxy. This one's been around. We've already seen it on the Atari home computer. the VIC-20, the TRS-80 color computer, and here we go on the brand new Commodore 64. Let's take a look at the box. Should look familiar because Avalon Hill does what they do with their releases and make the box the same for everything. And you can see there on the bottom left, it's all of them. Commodore 64, VIC-20, Atari home computers, and TRS-80. And we played them all. We're going to complete the whole set. There we go. And flip it over in the back to give you an example of the screenshot and the cassette tape. Besides that, we also have the ad you would have seen by Avalon Hill along with Bomber Attack. That's kind of a stinker, in my opinion. This is Avalon Hill trying to not do simulation or strategy, but go for arcade. Shootout at the OK Galaxy is one of their best. Still, they should stick with simulation, though. All right, here's the manual for Shootout at the OK Galaxy, which we've already seen this manual because we played the other games. They break down, we have a few pictures of the box, and there's the cassette tape. That's pretty cool. This one is a pseudo-simulation, more like a space combat game. You were in the year 2935, and we have war that's broken out. The Federation Senate has sent fleets and fleets of ships out, and it's up to us to save the day. In Shootout at the OK Galaxy, you are the commander of the Federation starship Demona in Patrol Zone OK 2.7 blah blah blah. This zone protects the approaches of the most populous planets in the Federation, including Terra itself. So it's up to us, the last ship, the one ship that can save everyone. Whenever you load up the game, it tells you what difficulty level we want to select from, and the display screen comes up. This one is a space combat game, so we have a crosshair in the middle, and we fly around in space shooting things up. You destroy raiders that are centered in the sights, and you beam strike them, or laser blast them. And then on the left side, it shows our heading and azimuth, which indicate the direction of travel and orientation in relation to the galactic plane. Your current energy status. Notice how they kind of slipped in a little bit of strategy, like a little bit, where you have to understand your heading and azimuth. Then we also have the map. You can do this by pressing R on the keyboard. I don't know why M. M is on the TRS-80. They should have kept it with that one. But the idea of the game is to go around quadrant to quadrant, destroying all the ships. If you start running low on fuel because you've used shields or hyperspace jumps, you need to go refuel yourself by going to supply planets, the Federation territory. And then this shows you how movement works, which is slightly complicated. I'll go into it when we go into the game, and we've already played this one 3 other times. This is the 4th time we played Shootout at the OK Galaxy, so I think we got it by now. Then we also have life support. When you travel through hyperspace, how do you lose the game? Anytime your energy level goes to 0, your ship will die, or it's hit by and shield strength is reduced to 0. How you win is destroy all the raiders that enter your sector. If you're the victor, the Federation is saved by your veritable brilliance. And then they break down the commands on all the systems. I think we got there. It is Commodore 64. The joystick works. We'll be plugging that one in. I believe you have to have it in port 2, so make sure you switch that port on your Commodore 64 to play it right. There's the map explanations for everything. We're represented, I think, by the asterisk or the plus on the map. And then it has the loading instructions. Got to know those in 1982. Look at that. For all the computers, Avalon Hill's just covered all the bases. I don't know if this one is available on Japanese home computers. They have a lot of other ones that Avalon Hill brought over there, but I don't think this one was. And they even have screenshots. Very nice. Let's pop it and play Shootout at the OK Galaxy, developed by Microcomputer Games by Avalon Hill at sometime in August 1982. This one is another take on Space Raiders. That was first on the Atari home computer. This one is a dumbed-down version of that. A lot of the ones we've seen so far have been Galactic Attack on the Apple II, Space Raiders on the Apple II, Space Attack on the Atari VCS, which is one of the recent ones. And this is one that you would play that is even more simpler than that, even more simpler than the Star Trek variants. So we begin with a crosshair, you fly around in space. Let's see if we got anybody in our sector, and I don't think we do. Let's fire off our lasers. You can see over on the left side our energy is going down, but we do have someone in one sector lower than us. Let's check out the map. Let's see. Oh, it didn't work. Let's try it again. There it is. Give us the map. Oh gosh, yeah, it flashes and shows us our position and where we should be going. Okay, so we can see that there's one person in the quadrant lower than us if you look over on the left side. So I'm going to get our azimuth down to 0 first. Before we do a hyperspace jump, make sure it's 0. There it is. Now if we want to do if we want to go south, we got to get our heading to 6. So I'm going to move our heading over to 6 because that's how you go down south. And then after that, we do our hyperspace jump, and they want to go how far? We just want to go 1. And engage. So you're following the dial on the bottom left side, the 107654. That's showing the direction we're in. Okay, so we got one ship in this quadrant. Let's go get him. Where's he at? Oh, there it is. We got him. So exciting. So he's blown up. He's all gone. We go back to our map. What do we got? Anybody in this sector? No, we're all alone now. So we'll have to warp ourselves out of here. So we're going to go ahead and get our azimuth down to 0. But that's essentially how the game works. It's a very simplified Star Raiders where you're moving around, shooting all the ships in the quadrant, and then preserving your energy. We're already down to 183. And then trying to blow everybody up before they take over. That's right. We have seen something like that in text mode too. Yeah, I never understood why the port in the Commodore 64 goes back and forth between 1 to 2. And I think Commodore PET has 1 too. We didn't play that version. The Commodore PET one most likely would be in Petsky. Okay, so let's get ourselves to warp. Let's go really far. Let's go ahead and hyper jump. I want to go... Can we do 20? Oh, sorry. We're not authorized to leave the zone. Does that mean we're stuck in this zone? Let's see. Yeah, we're in this patrol zone for this first one. And you just patrol yourself around, shooting up the ships. It's an okay time and shootout at the OK Galaxy, but there is better space combat games you could be playing. I'd still say of all the games you can play up to this point, we gave the nod to the TRS-80 color computer version. I said 3.5 stars. It played a little bit better. This one's around that range, 3 or 3.5 stars, because it's there's better games that you could be playing. I'll go 3 stars for shootout at the OK Galaxy. If you want to play a space combat game, it's a fun time and you would enjoy it, but there's not really, there's better ones that could give you more substance than this one. I see Errol's going 3 stars as well. You have all the games you'd be playing. Yeah, that's true. And it is in Petsky on the Commodore 64. It's not the best showing for what you could have. TRS-80 color computer is the way to go if you want to play it. Yeah, Curtis is going 3 stars as well. Yeah, it's just okay in the OK Galaxy. All right, and with that, let's see what our next game is. All right, going to the arcade. Let's play some Slither. I'm not familiar with Slither. Anybody remember Slither in the arcade? Here's the advertisement flyer, or what you would have seen. It's dramatic. It's new. It's for Southpaws too, so lefties. Player is the blaster with full screen access and 180 direction change. Dual controls for right or left-hand firing, fast action, full color monitor. Nice. So we were shooting up some snakes, shooting up some slithers, and there's a demon or devil in the top right. I don't know what that one is. We're going to see this game later on the ColecoVision. So this is the first time we've ever seen Slither. If you're familiar with it, I'm sure we'll see it later on the ColecoVision. As the player concentrates on snakes, pterodactyls, and mutant gorillas go on the screen. Mutant gorillas too? So I guess it's not a shootout in the Old West. We're just shooting the snakes. So this advertisement flyer, it tells us it's programmed by GDI. And gives us lots of information. Very nice. Flip it over the back. It has several screens for the game. Fast whole screen, dawn to dusk action. Very nice. And of course, they're selling to the operator, so they want to make sure you get the best profit out of it. There's an example of the arcade cabinet. Very slick. Reminds me of the 70s. Doesn't it look like it should be in 1978, the design of the arcade cabinet? There's the control panel. This is played with the trackball. Very nice. That looks just pristine, whoever took the picture. In the arcades at the time, that thing was filthy. It's probably sticky, too, if you wanted to play with. But you can play both sides. We're going to be able to fire up and down at the same time. So 2 buttons. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing this one in the wild. So you have 2 buttons to fire up and down. There's the arcade marquee. An example of the screenshot. We also have the manual, but we're not going to get any help here. The owner, operator, and service manual, if you see the table of contents, it has nothing about the game concept or what the game is. It's just technical. So sadly, even theory of operation, that doesn't tell you what the game is. So the manual isn't going to be helpful at all. This one has 2 different sets. Let's go to the arcades and play some Slither. Published by Century 2 at sometime in August 1982, or I believe it's sometime in summer of 1982 for this one. Yeah, there we go. Century 2, developed by GDI. Always like to check out the attract mode first. This is what you would see first in the arcade before you decide to put your coin in. Really, really nice graphics. We're getting some vibes that it's running on the same board as Crazy Climber or a few of the other ones. At least the colors remind me of that. Yes. Oh, man, I'm not giving you the full experience without pizza stains or pizza grease and cigarette burns. Oh, it was. Well, yeah, this one is Centipede, as you can see on the attract mode. We've already played lots of Centipede variants up to this point. Centipede was first played in July of 1981, and then the official version of Centipede is right now on the Atari home computers. We played about 20 different games that play and act like Centipede so far on Chronologically Gaming. Recently, we played Haunted Hill on the Atari home computer, Bugs on MS-DOS, and Viper on the Atari home computer, Megalegs on the Atari home computer, and this game is very similar to Viper. Viper on the Atari home computer allows you to shoot up and shoot down just like Slither does. All right, let's put some coins in and go. Got some 2 quarters in, 50 bucks, and let's go. I got a little ditty that plays with us. All right, so I'm in the center of the screen. Oh yeah, the trackball. It's not as smooth as Centipede, believe it or not. But I have the ability to move all the way around. Do I have full reign? Oh, nice. So I got full reign of the whole map, just like Viper on the Atari home computer. That was the first Centipede variant that allowed us to go everywhere and shoot up and down. Which one came first, Viper or Slither? So it does feel a little bit slower. It's not as smooth as Centipede. But it is a trackball still. Let's see, is that supposed to be the gorilla? Is the mutant gorilla? It looks like a demon to me with wings. And we have the bushes, nice touch to shoot down. Pterodactyls. So I can shoot in 2 different directions, which gives you more freedom, but I'd still rather play Centipede, even though you can tell that they're adding a little bit more higher resolution to the screen than Centipede, but the colors just pop in Centipede. And the enemy types aren't as varied or as fun as Centipede either. Makes me want to go back and play Centipede, actually. I just imagine if you're in the arcade and Centipede and Slither were in the same place, I'm pretty sure you'd play that one. Going back to the discussion we had about if it's going to be in the arcade or home computers, this is very similar to Viper. And you could play something pretty much like the exact same gameplay at home. Yeah, doesn't it feel a little bit like that? We haven't seen Crossbow yet. That's Exidy, I believe. Yeah, the graphics remind me of that kind of feel. See, I'm even wanting to play this like Centipede. See, I could be doing this, going up and shooting down, but I'm just so used to hanging down at the bottom because of the vertical orientation and shooting everything up on top. The slithers go everywhere. Got it. Oh man, and the mutated gorillas that pop out of the side, I died so fast. Can we put initials in? Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, it works. Use the trackball, nice. Yeah, it shows how slow it is putting in your score. It's not as smooth, but it works. It gets the job done. Yeah, that jingle I think we've heard before. Another public domain song added to the repertoire of all the games played. So of all the arcade games we played up to this point, it's obviously not in the realm of the golden age or classic arcade games. If this was an arcade that we went to and had all those other games, I could see how people would pass this by. They would just see it as Centipede. One of the things that doesn't make this as good of an experience is the colors, and how Centipede is changing colors and makes it like it's something fun that you're experiencing. This doesn't feel as fun. This feels like I'm in the desert, a very drab experience. Adding the other functionality to move all the way around and shoot, doesn't really do the game justice. It doesn't make it a better experience. I'm seeing Errol already thrown out there. Of all the arcade games, you'd say 2.5 stars, Errol, of... That'd be subpar range. I don't know if I'd say subpar so much. Yeah, Curtis is going about 2 or 3 of all the arcade games so far. The newest arcade game that's the big hit, Donkey Kong Jr. we've seen. And of course, Frogger. There's so many good ones that are out there available. Galaga. If we think of other shooters, I'm seeing Victor throw out a 3. There you go. So of all the games we could play, I still say Slither's all right. It's not something that would be considered a bad arcade game if you think of all the other ones that you could be playing, but the definitely could do better. Slither is not doing favors for Centipede fans. I could see them not wanting to play this one or pass it by. Yeah, it's ripping off Centipede, so it doesn't deserve the same score. When we first saw it, I gave Centipede 5. Yes, that's right. Spiders, I don't think we've even seen that one yet. It's coming up soon. Yeah, so I'd say around the average range of all the arcade games so far, I'm going to go 3 stars for Centipede, for Slither. See, I almost called it Centipede. Yes, and you can definitely waste quarters on worse games than this one, too, if you can consider arcade games. All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. Time to go to the United Kingdom and play on the BBC Micro. Were you that rich kid that had the BBC Model B? Come on, tell me if you were. And this is Snapper. Let's check out Snapper, starting with the box. Oh man, look what Snapper has. Now this one is the later box, I believe, by Acorn Soft for the BBC Model B, and it shows, like the other ones by Acorn Soft, a screenshot of the game, very bold. Flip it over the back, and it shows the other games we played. We played Monsters, which is like a Panic variant, and Planetoid, which is like Defender, so this one should be pretty good. Guide the Snapper through the maze, eating dots and fruit while trying to avoid being eaten by the creatures that chase you. If you eat a flashing dot, the creatures become edible. Eat them quickly before they revert to Snapper hunting mode. The game gets progressively faster, and with higher scores as the fruit increase in value. You must survive 13 screenfuls before catching a glimpse of the ultimate prize, the Acorn. Fully compatible with keyboards and joystick. Do we have any other artwork for Snapper besides the box? We have the cassette tape to pop in and play, or the 5 1/4 floppy disk, which no one had the disk drive unless you were shelling out tons of money for it. So we got 2 different versions of this one. Let's play version 1 first. This is by Jonathan Griffiths, published by Acorn Soft at sometime in August 1982. At this point, we played about 70, that's right, 70 Pac-Man variant games. Snapper is going to be added to that list. Puckman came out in May of 1980, and then later, October of 1980, we got Pac-Man. It's already official on the Atari VCS and the Atari home computer. The most recent ones we've seen that are Pac-Man variants was Macho Mouse in the arcade, Lock and Chase, and of course, Pac-Man is in the arcades with Super Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man right now, and Pac-Man Plus. There, it shows you it's the same instructions on the box. Nice touch. So it shows us Snapper's direction and controls. Got it. Press any key to play. Let's go. Yeah, we have a lot more Pac-Man games to go. 70 games already. Now look at this. This is Snapper. Wow. Now it's keyboard controlled only on this one. We don't have the joystick for the very first version, but look at this. So we're using the keys Z, X, and like the quote and slash to move around. So you do have the keys that would be normal on your BBC Micro, because that's all you need is to move Pac-Man around. But look at this. This looks the part. This looks like we're playing Pac-Man. And bear in mind, the only official Pac-Man is on the Atari VCS right now and the Atari home computer. This looks amazing. I'm trying to see if the AI is kind of messed up, but it's actually working pretty well, or following a pretty similar formula than what you would have played in the arcades. Yeah, I'm watching Inky, Binky, and Blinky and Clyde. They even have the animation going there. Nice touch. Oh, see, he's going straight at me like he should be. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not too shabby. Oh, is that the next official one? We'll see Pack and Pal next. That's right, Namco lawyers did sharpen their pencils, and if that didn't look familiar, that was shelved pretty fast. So version 2 is the snapper that most people in the United Kingdom will remember, because this one is changing everything up after, I'm sure, a lawsuit. Look at this, we have a flashy opening too. You get the flashing dot, creatures become blue and become edible. They tell you how to play Pac-Man. When you've eaten all the dots, you tackle the screen full and go on to 3 snappers. You earn another one by 15,000 points. Oh, yes. There we go. That's the Acorn Soft title I'm used to looking for on the BBC Micro. There we go. So the movement is the same. And this one, if you have the joystick, because it's the later revision of it, you can use that too. And that's what we're going to do. Let's go. Totally different opening, different sound, but look at him. That's Snapper. He looks so surprised to see us. And the enemies remind me of the prototype of Miss Pac-Man. It looks like Crazy Otto. At least the bad guys do. And this plays pretty much the same. I don't understand how this one avoided legality, but Casey Munchkin got hit, because this looks more like Pac-Man than Casey Munchkin ever did. This is almost the same maze, too. So they didn't change the maze, they just made Snapper look more like his own character and the enemies less like the ghosts. Yeah, it's still a Pac-Man clone. Very well done, though. But you gotta just imagine at this point, how fresh is this? In the United Kingdom, I can definitely understand someone seeing this and playing it kind of like Defender that we saw on the BBC Micro. It's done very well. It looks the part. It's fantastic. It does look like I'm bleeding. Just Pac-Man's been awake for a very long time and had lots of Snappers had lots of cups of coffee. That's what it is. Snapper is Pac-Man's drunk uncle. That's who Snapper is. I mean, look, he's got the hat and everything. They even give us the fruit to pick up and eat. Definitely better than Scarf Man. And we've played so many Pac-Man variants that I can testify we've seen terrible, terrible versions of Pac-Man. This one is fantastic. For a home computer, this one's playing very, very well, just like in the arcade. And notice that when we do clear the screen, the other screens don't change themselves. To this day, I still say that Ghost Hunter is still the best Pac-Man variant so far. It has multiple mazes that you can change. It has 2-player simultaneous Pac-Man, and it allows you to play as the ghosts. You can be the enemies in Pac-Man. So Ghost Hunter is the way to go. Yeah, right. Making it look just like Snapper look just like Pac-Man is awesome. So there you go. It is a well-done version of Pac-Man. Of all the games you can play on a home computer, it's a very noble attempt. I would say it's above average because of how close it is to playing Pac-Man. But at this point, with other Pac-Man games that are out there, how high would you say this is? Would you call this an excellent or a very well-done game? Or would you say it's one of the best games you can play on a home computer because it's like playing in the arcade? Even though the arcade has Pac-Man Plus, the arcade already has Miss Pac-Man and other ones that are better. Yeah, it's a tricky one, Marshall. I'm seeing 3.5 stars. Yeah, no intermission too. That's another point. They took that one out. It's trying to compare the pulling the punches between what they had in the arcade and what they didn't have. Errol's going 4. I'm actually going to go with Errol. I'm in the same boat in saying this is excellent. This is a very good game for any of the home computers that you could play out there. 4 stars for Snapper. Check it out. A great Pac-Man game. Yeah, and look at the front of the box. The redone version shows the screenshot, so you know you're going to get Pac-Man, and it plays very well, just like Pac-Man. And yeah, I do miss the intermission. I wish we had that one too. All right, there we go. It's time to put the video game playing on pause. Next episode, we're going to be playing the Space Games of August 1982. That's it for today, and like I always say, shooting in video games will never get old. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.